There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment, and here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a great guest for you today, a very interesting story. And Rochelle's going to introduce her because I want to make sure that we get her name exactly right.
Yeah, we have Andreia Poston here with us. Is it Poston or Poston? Correct me.
Poston.
Andreia Poston here with us today. You can find her on many different social medias, and she's got her own thing going on YouTube, which we'll talk about later in our conversation. But Andreia, you have, like Kevin said, a story, and we all do, and it is worth sharing that. And sometimes we just don't understand how maybe our story can help other people at the same time. So thank you for being here with us today. And how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I just want to say there's a little delay with audio, so I'm listening to it twice, and I'm kind of listening to myself again.
Is there a another device that you have open?
Yeah, because we don't hear an echo, so I want to make sure that it's clear on your end.
Fix this here real quick. I know we are going live, so yeah, I'll try and fix it and talk a little bit about myself. Yes, I do have a deep desire to help people live a quality life. And a quality life for me, it reads into a life in your own terms, free of obligations from outside obligations. Um, and to create that, I ended up writing a book, Create a Great Brand New Life, giving those thought processes that you really have to engage through to become the best version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself, regardless of what happens to you, around you, or you are seeing happening. And my journey started when I was very young, north of Brazil. 4 years old, very observant, and I've always been a leader by nature and called in to be a leader. But I think we are all leaders. Are you guys listening?
Yeah,
Of
we
course.
can hear you. Very
Great.
good.
Okay, so we are all leaders in some way or form, whether you are a leader in your household, you are a leader in your life on the decisions that you make. And obviously, the thought that one thing similar happens to one person and it destroys their life, but then it'll happen similar thing with somebody else and they will use that to grow. So there is a perception level, and there is an encouraging transformation that happens inside a person to overcome what life throws at them. And I work a lot on the very deeper level, and I have a lot of like love and compassion for people. And I have the capability of looking at someone and really trying to see them not just through my eyes and my experience, but really seeing them. And people want to be seen. They don't want to be filtered through other glances. And I have developed that capability. And I love people, and I'm very protective of children, and I have a couple of kids. Lucas is 20 today, Lucas Poston, and my daughter is 16. Yeah, she's gonna be 17 in 9 days from now. And I worked a lot into protecting their minds. I knew that I couldn't protect them just from the world. I thought a better approach for my parental style was to help them know what to block, what to see, and really follow those instincts. And they're doing really well. They're doing really, really well. And within the world that we have today, you know, controlling your focus, taking control of your thoughts. Those are some of the topics that I have on my book. I have like a blocking technique because you can't let everybody in. And our brains, it's constantly blocking things, but you can intentionally choose what you don't want to see on a deeper level and to allow only what's good in and only what's good to stay. And this book gives a lot of tools to work through that.
And again, the name of the book is
Create a great brand new life. Create a great brand new life.
Now, was there a moment in time in your past when you said to yourself, why am I here? And what am I here to do? And how did that manifest itself? And then how did you work through the things that maybe you'd been through in the past and what you're doing now, because you're also running for office in the town you're at, and you're really are doing a lot of things. You got a couple of great kids, but was there a moment in time when you said, I want to figure out why I'm here, and do you remember the steps that you took to figure that out?
Great question, Kevin. I ask this question constantly, and who I ask the question to is it's God. I'm a person that believes in God, and I give him my life. Guide me, God. God, why do you want me to be here? And it's not easy. Um, but the opposite of not doing what you are meant to do is not easy either. So the saying, the pain of discipline, or the pain of the consequences of not having discipline and not doing the things that you're created to do, it weighs on me because I like to think in longevity, in long terms. And for me, long term is believing in God and that God has an eternal life for me. So living an honest, strong, positive life that He created me to be, I will earn that. So my real treasure is not materialistic things. My real treasure is in God, and that helps me navigate through the difficulties. Now, yes, I have come a really, really long way and have encountered a lot of, pain and have gotten up many, many times. And that's what I have to do. And that's what I've been called to do. And sometimes it hurts.
Yeah, me too, girl. I'm on track.
Yeah, it's just okay. That happened. Up, okay, get up, shake, and keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I want
Um,
to touch base on this, if that's okay. Something that's being called to me to ask you is, you go through so many things, right, in your life, as we all do, and the time heals all thing, right? I've heard that so many times this morning from Kevin, from someone from our team I just got to break open and talk with. And they told me time heals all. And I'll be vulnerable in my mind. I'm thinking, how much time does it take? Because no matter how much time goes by, some things you think you work through, they come back up and they retest you and they question you and they make sure if you're actually doing the work and following the path that you decided was better for yourself. What would you say to somebody that said that to you? Andrea, I thought this was going to go away and it's coming back. Did you have that happen also?
uh, yes. In life, I believe adopting uh, win no matter what attitude, meaning
Mhm.
that you either win a lesson or you take the experience with you.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if I got the question correctly. Go ahead and elaborate it for me
So,
again, Rochelle.
yeah, let's say, you go through something and you think you went through all the grieving processes of it, but then later on, could be a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a few years, and it all comes back to the surface, and you think to yourself, I thought I already worked through this. Well, why does it come back?
Oh gosh, as you were explaining this, it's very hard for me to be vulnerable. I need to take my walls down a little bit. Um, ah, I don't really like to talk about myself. In this book, it's just so funny because it's like a lot of lessons. My sister actually criticized me. She's like, "You should give a little background of like what you experienced in order to write that." But
Yeah.
I will be vulnerable to you right now. Yes, I've had that happen to me, and being on the radio today with you guys is the redo of that because I did a radio segment in 2019, I believe. And then the following day, I got very sick.
Mm,
I just had a lot of difficult things happening for a number of years.
yeah.
And, it just, it took me away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a wonderful family. My husband was very supportive of me. And was just too much stress. They're
Yeah.
trying to take on too much.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the lesson that I don't need to do it with my own hands. God has already done everything for me. I need to be in alignment with Him and listen. And yes, take one step at a time, focus in one action at a time, one day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. And sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes you
Yeah.
feel that pressure. And
Yeah.
I have three older sisters, and then I call them and I'm like, Adria, I'm having a day. I'm feeling that pressure. She's like, oh, Mana, get through it. It's just a day. Mana is sister. Get through it. Tomorrow is another day. Just like Gone, what is it? Gone with the Wind. Tomorrow is
Yes.
another day.
Yeah.
So, being on the radio today with you guys is a redo of that. And I feel now that I understand that whatever difficulties that I went through and overcame over the course of my life is just to prove that it is possible to have a great, brand new life, that it
Yeah.
is possible to in any world to protect your kids mentally and to have a safe home. And another example of that is where I am now living in Western Colorado. It's a beautiful place, and I feel that you know I'm not going to take for granted the great things that I have in my life. I'm going to use everything to help people. I don't want it just here. I want it people all over the world because I think about human beings and feelings, and I know I'm not the only one that goes through it. To have a chance, a winning chance, to be the authentic version of themselves, because there is a lot of peace that comes through that. After all the difficulties, it's worthwhile. It's peaceful. So I think that does that answer your question?
Beautifully. Kevin actually just told me that this morning. I tend to go through waves of things. And I missed a few days because I crashed out. That's what the new kids call it. I had a moment where everything came to the surface, and for once, I allowed that to be. But I asked Kevin, I was sad before, and now I'm a little bit angry, and that's okay. I don't have to I don't have to express that in every moment that I'm alive. I'm angry about things that have nothing to do with my current circumstances because I'm so thankful for who I am and where I'm at in my life. Um, but I'd like to touch on that piece when we come back from this break because Kevin said something beautifully. I don't even know if he remembers it.
Oh, I might. I don't know. That was so long ago. That was like I don't know, an hour. And so who knows? Who knows? By the way, we're talking with Andrea and Brichelle, help.
Yes, yes. We're talking with Andreia Poston. Go and visit. She's on all the social medias you can find, and she's also on YouTube, which is huge, where she is sharing so much of herself and ways of things that she's learned. So when we come back from this break, take a look at that and pay attention until then, and we'll talk about peace
And love. We'll be right back.
and love.
Love. War and freedom collide in the Girl of Many Crowns. Judith of Francia's story will take you from the heart of royal courts to the chaos of Viking invasions. It's a tale of resilience and courage that proves history is not just written by kings, but by women who dared to choose their own path. The Girl of Many Crowns is available now on Amazon Books, Kindle, Amazon Audiobooks, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Book Baby Bookshop. Don't just read history, experience it. Order your copy today. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Brichelle. My name is Kevin, and we are here with Andreia Poston, and she's an author. She is a political activist. I don't know if political activist is right, but you are running for office, and in the mighty town of. It's a little itty bitty place, or is it? How many people? Well, before we go there, Andreia, I need to do this because we have Brichelle, tell us about our friend in Kenya.
Yes, we have Samuel joining us in from the Kiberia slums of Kenya. He says, "Greetings, brother Kevin and sister Brichelle and guest Andreia. We are watching you live from the Kiberia slums of Restoring Hope Center, based in Kiberia in Nairobi, Kenya, with my team. This is our favorite program. Kiberia is listening and watching. And hello, we love you all so, so, so much. Thank you for being in on every single show. And thank you for being here with Andreia, because so many of the things, no matter where you're at in life, no matter where you are on the globe, we're human and we go through these experiences and we either learn from them or maybe we don't. But Andreia, I'd like to touch on the positive aspect of people go through all these things and we have our stories and we have our heaviness. What was it like when the peace hit you after you were angry?
Say that question again.
What was it like for you when peace overcame you after being so sad and angry?
I think anger wouldn't be the correct emotion. I think the feeling of being overwhelmed
Yeah.
with taking on so much.
Yeah.
But then that taught me strength. Now I know how strong I am. And isn't that how diamonds are made? They
Yes.
so much
That's a perfect
pressure.
example.
And then it really showed me who I really am. And we all have greatness within us. And we all have a role in this world. And we need to dig really deep to know who we really are, what we really value, what our values are. Because what happens is when you don't know what you value, you keep taking 5 steps forward and then you take 10 steps backward.
Right.
You're at a loss, because if you inflict your own values, then you are in violation with yourself. So really
Right.
getting to know yourself, the reasons why you do what you do. I do have a chapter in the book, Taking Control of Your Emotions. And I talk about using emotions as signals and understanding the underlying reasons that you're feeling that. And to answer your question, for me, I just became I had become overwhelmed with so much that I had taken on with my hands. And now I've learned that balance, that I really do need to trust God.
And
Yeah.
balance is a big deal. But Michelle, I got to ask you, what impressively dynamic thing did I say that you were going to mention?
You told me time heals all, and I said, I'm being vulnerable here on live air. This was about an hour ago. Kevin told me time heals all. And what did I do? I rolled my eyes. Like, yeah, okay, well, how much time do I have? And I think many of us ask ourselves that. How much time is this going to take? But I realized, Andrea, because I have approached myself and my life a little bit differently, that now where I'm at, when Kevin said, what comes next is peace, I've actually realized that I've been aware of what that is, what that feels like, what that encounter is. And it's when you surrender, like, how much time do we spend fighting against ourselves because we don't want to deal with the reality of what our life has brought us and maybe who we are? And when you surrender, yes, things come to the surface and things do hurt, but it's like this it's like somebody turning on a light bulb when you've been in a dark room for a really long time, and it's like, "Oh, okay. Well, this may take time, and there may be so many emotions, not just peace, but I'm willing to do that for the sake of myself." And I think that's what it brought to the surface when I was talking to Kevin earlier, because we it's so hard to come to terms with, but you probably understand this, and I'd like you to explain how you maybe help people through it. Is the realization that you do have control of what you feel and what you think and how hard things are to go through, but by also allowing it rather than shutting it down. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
I want to add to that if I can, real quick,
Yeah.
Andrea, which is emotions. I just made this up, so you tell me whether or not I'm crazy or not. Emotions are like an onion. As you go through that emotion, you peel the outside, but there's still emotion there, and there's still hurt, and there's still pain. And as you continue to work through that, and then you peel the layers of the onion away, eventually, and it may not be today, but eventually, that onion disappears because you've peeled all the layers off. Now, was that brilliant or was that stupid?
You got it, Kevin. Yes, yes. It's uncovering the reasons why emotions are important. Like I said, I consider them signals, but what you do with them matters. If something makes you angry, what you do out of anger matters. So
Yep.
self-control really, takes a place. And that's another topic. I'm just going to read the topics so you guys have an idea of like
Okay.
how I dig deep into those different aspects. So I do have take control of your thoughts, redirect your focus, personal formulas, time, physiology. I'm not going to read all of them, but self-control is there, emotion is there, facing criticism with courage, staying true to your values. Those are some of the topics that I really dive into on the book, because it's a recipe for you to really stand strong and have a full life, but you need to be in control of yourself. But I would like to touch on the control aspect that Brichelle was mentioning. Some of the leaders that I have talked to, that are also people that believe in God, they struggle with the balance between how much of this is in my hands to do and how much of this I really should give it to God. If you're talking on an executive level, we need to perform, we need to get things done. So how much of that is our responsibility and how much it is? So that's why staying present And to your initial question, Kevin, giving that control to him and having that conversation, that works for me. And I'm not, sure of how that would tie in for people with, different beliefs. But I think you need to have a baseline to go from.
I feel called to tell you guys a story, and it involves my mother, whose brother had mental illness. Her mom died when I was a baby in a mental hospital. My mother was very nervous, and she went through a good portion of her life that way. And then one day, she decided to give everything over to God. Now, some people would say that's abdicating her responsibility. But in her mind, that was how she could deal with that, rather than saying, I have to worry about this and I have to worry about that. She would say, I'm just going to let God handle it. And however God chose to handle it was how she was okay with. And that made her health improved, and a lot of things changed for her because of making that fundamental switch, which is trying to control every little thing that goes on in your life and letting it go.
It's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy to let go.
Yes, it is.
That's why.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's why the gospel according to Paul McCartney comes into play here. And that, you know who Paul McCartney is?
Oh, it's an interesting person. Yeah, I've seen some.
He was in the Beatles, and the Beatles created a song. It was called "Let It Be," and so that has become a mantra of mine, because rather than trying to control things that I have no business even worrying about controlling because it's not me, all I try and do. By the way, it's none of my business what you think of me. That's another one of my rules, is that I live my life according to how I perceive it to be in the best way for humanity and for other people. And but I learned that from my mom. Now, in her world, it was belief in God, that God was in control of everything. Now, whether that is true or not, it doesn't matter, because she believed it. So part of it is your beliefs, and part of it is your understanding and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So I learned that from her, and so that's why I try and not. Now I'm older now, and I'm kind of retired, and I'm just doing this, and so I have another story for you. and I told Rochelle this. My son recently lost his job. It was a $60 an hour job, and he lost it, and they fired him. And I won't say which one it is, but that was 2 weeks ago, and he was desperate, and he thought that he would never have anything, and that he was going to lose his house, and he was going to lose his motorcycle, and he was going to lose all this stuff. Well, because I said to him, just relax and let it be and let it unfold how it's supposed to, what happened was he calls L&I, which in Washington State is where you get your unemployment checks from. And the unemployment office went to the company, and they said, well, you know what? They don't have any proof of why they terminated you. So they were not doing it correctly, and so we're going to give you unemployment benefits starting today, which is virtually unheard of. Yep. And so then I tell, he's a mechanic, and I tell him, well, just, you're going to be fine. How about doing your own thing? So I put an ad out, and he had responses from like half a dozen people who said, I want you to come fix my car, and I want you to come do this. So now he's busier than he would have been at work, and is liable to make more money doing this than he ever did at work, because he let it be and let it unfold rather than trying to make it all happen and make it all work. So that's I
It's a
keep telling you,
redirection, right, Kevin?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a redirection.
And it's a redirection that it's okay. Life is meant to be enjoyed. You said one thing that was really important. We were all born great. I know that for a fact. We were all born great, and we spend most of our time figuring out why we ain't so great, or people telling us why we ain't so great, or circumstances telling us you're pretty not so great. But you need to get through those. And that's one of the things I like about your book and what you're talking about is getting through all of those obstacles and the things that you mentioned will help you live the life that God, the universe, however you describe it, designed for you to live. And until you start facing up to those things, you're never going to have the quality of life that you could have if you did it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No,
No,
I
you're good.
love
I
it.
know we need
You
to
got
take a
it.
short break. Andreia,
Mhm.
when we come back, all of this is leading me to ask you about willingness. So many of us shut down on ourselves because we think we cannot do it. When we come back, I want to hear your perspective on what it's like to break through being willing to live a better life for yourself and how much easier I think it may be than a lot of us think so. We always think, oh, well, it's been hard, so it's going to be hard. But in some weird way, when you finally break through this point in yourself, it's actually a little bit easier. And I'm wondering if you know why. So, Kevin, go ahead and take us to break. And I'd love to hear Andrea's perspective when we come back.
Brilliant. Simply brilliant. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald and Rochelle and Andreia is here. Andreia, are you having a good time?
I am having a great time. It's amazing to be here talking to you guys.
It's amazing to have you here to talk to, and we're so pleased that you're here. What I don't want is that because you had so much stuff going on in 19 when you did that other radio interview, then you actually got sick because of all the things that were going on with you. We don't want that for you tomorrow.
I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm good. I'm ready.
No,
We're family
cool.
here.
Let's talk. I made it through and I came back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And isn't that the cool thing about life is that you can come back stronger and better than you were before. And that's part of the magic of life. Rochelle, you had a question. Go ahead and ask it again.
Yes, that leads straight into my question. And tell me if maybe I'm looking at this wrong also, if you would maybe call it something else, but the willingness. There's so many parts where we come to ourselves and we're like, okay, I know whether you realize it or not, your subconscious comes in and it decides how you're going to handle something, right? Because you can react out of fear, you can react out of anger, you can react out of sadness, like we've talked about. But all you're really doing is hurting yourself more most of the time. Where does willingness step into play and have to do with you finally coming to terms that you are going to do whatever it takes to make your life and yourself a little bit better?
Okay, I like to give that example. You have an arm, but you're not your arm. You have a brain, but you're not your brain. You're you. And you're supposed to be the commander in chief of your mind. So really digging down deep and finding out who you are and what really, really are your values, and work on that will guide you into the next step. And I keep referring back to the book, but literally, I think that one of the topics is the power of choices and decision making. You are constantly deciding, constantly. Sometimes your subconscious mind is deciding for you, and if that is not clear, clean, good, in a good state, then what kind of life? Every second matters, every minute matters. So really having a clear, secure, strong mind, knowing what you believe, being kind to yourself and to other people, I think it's important. And then there is something special once you go out and pursue, such as Kevin Sons pursues something for his career. You end up helping other people in the process. So another topic I have is discoveries and contribution. On the road of you choosing your authentic self and becoming who you are meant to be, I have a description as like on a picture, you have megapixels. So the clearer the megapixels are, better the picture. So the same is for you. The clearer you know yourself, you know who you are, you appear better in this beautiful picture that life is. So whoever, all the children and people, everybody has something special within them. So to hold that truthful and to awaken, it's so important, so that we can have that beautiful picture that life really is. And then the third step for that is the topic that I have: choose uplifting meanings for what happens in your life. Unfortunately, things happen in life, and sometimes it's horrible. Let's just be honest. Like, horrible things happen to a lot of different people. But the meaning that you choose to have for what happens, that's the key. That your perspective, even your words. Think about it. If I say I'm hungry or I'm starving, wow, that puts a lot of emotions like right there, right? So choosing positive meanings, choosing a perspective that uplifts. And yeah, sometimes we take the hit, breathe, take a few days, like Rochelle, sorry. And then, just keep going. Um, yeah, I think that would cover. So you're constantly choosing, you're constantly making decisions. Um, Diving deep within yourself, find out who you are and what you're meant to do here, and do your best to overcome the challenges there. If you look for something, you'll find it. Like, there are so many tools. And I think the mindset is important. Try not to stay on a place of scarcity. If you reformat your mind and your brain to think that there is abundance, there are still a lot of good people with good hearts in the world. And as I've worked for office as a trustee for the town of Silt, combined about 3 years, and now I'm going through the elections for another term. And I need to believe that there are other people that are good and they mean well and they do want to protect the people around them. I have to believe that. Like, for me, I have to see the good in people, because it's not all bad.
Yeah, it
Whatever you
isn't.
focus on, it expands. So I prefer to focus on positive, uplifting, and having the willingness to work on myself and to help uplift others. So yeah, does that answer your question, Rochelle?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I'd like Kevin to have almost the rest of this time because I am just asking you so many questions and I'm involved, I'm absorbed, I'm understanding and I'm learning here along with what you're saying, as I hope so many others are. But I'd like to understand, we never touched this point. What made you write this book?
Well, okay, so I have a good friend of mine, Brett Lark. He one day he was actually the gym owner that I used to go to,
Mhm.
and one day I told him, I said, I think I would like to speak in public. And then he's the kind of person that, okay, let's do it. So he rented out the local theater. We only had 3 people show up. And that speech is called Grow and is on my YouTube. It's I'm very feisty the way I talk there.
That's okay.
I'm really strong, but it's out there. So I did that speech, and then I decided to say, maybe I should open a YouTube. It's like, open it, do it now. And then he's like, no, I'm not going to hang up the phone until you do it. So I opened the YouTube. So the YouTube led up because it was the YouTube first, and then I used some of the topics that I talk about there to be you will see some alignment with the topics from the book. And then long answer, sorry.
No, you're okay.
What happened is I had this burning desire to get it out and write, and my computer broke. And I was in office with one of my coworkers, and I told her, and I start crying. I said, I need to write. The words were just here. I just need to write. And she's like, Drea, it's okay. I'll lend you my computer. So she did. And I that day I wrote for hours. I just had to write. All the combinations of the lessons, the YouTube, all came to a point that I just had to. And then after that, I end up, somebody, I don't know, gifted a computer to me, and it took me it's only 80 pages on the book, but it took me about 2.5 years, because some days I would write for 20 minutes. Some days I would write for 10 hours. Other days I would spend months without writing anything. And so that's basically how it happened.
Beautiful.
And when you look at that and how it all came together, one thing followed the other thing. I want to open up. By the way, that gym owner, you need to send him some bouquet or some candy or something, because he is the catalyst. Are you still in touch with him?
Mr. Brett Lark is an amazing person. He's doing great projects. He also has a YouTube channel, and he actually encouraged my 13-year-old daughter to write a book. And he has his publishing company, and he published her book as well. So she was like in the front page of the the Post Independent. She was on the Aspen Times. As a young author. Her book is called Spider Friend. He's an amazing person. He's a good human being. And yeah.
And so, yeah, send him a bouquet, because he's the catalyst that got you on the road to doing one thing, which followed another thing, which followed another thing, and ended up being a book. And now you're on Positive Talk talking about your book, and it's on, is it in Amazon yet and all those places?
It is in Amazon. Uh-huh.
then that's the next step, is that's going to catch on and it's going to do well, which is, by the way, going to lead to a second book, and or not, but no judgment either way. Whatever you choose to do is what is going to happen. And that's how you become to live. Do you become to lead the life that you really want to live by following your passion, understanding what your passion is, and then keep going and never quit. I've been doing this for 23 years and I ain't quitting, and Rochelle can't make me. She's trying to get me to quit because she wants to take over, but no, dang it, I ain't doing it.
No. You can have that as long as you want. We deserve our Kevin.
Well, and we need to take our final break. And this is something I would love your opinion on this, Andrea, because we just created this and I think it's dynamic. So listen to this and tell me what you think. For way too long, we've allowed shadows to dictate our steps. Our clamor of division, the whisper of fear, and the harsh grip of hate. They've tried to define us. But this is our moment of truth. We remember who we truly are, not just separate islands, but a vast ocean of shared humanity. We declare our independence from the narratives that have pulled us apart. We choose curiosity over judgment, empathy over indifference, understanding over accusation. This isn't about ignoring our differences. It's about celebrating the strength woven into our tapestry. It's about remembering that progress isn't built on exclusion, but on common ground. So let the banners of kindness fly high. Let the anthem of unity ring out. This is our declaration, our independence from what limits us, our freedom to truly connect. Because together we are stronger. And together, we are free. And this declaration is brought to you by Positive Talk Radio. And welcome back to Positive Talk. And, okay, Andrea, what did you think?
It's absolutely amazing. Yes.
Well, and Brichelle, Brichelle used her voice on that. It was really remarkable.
You are so lying. He's so lying. But it's one of those things that, like, me and Kevin, we didn't talk for a day, and then it's, hey, look what I created, look what I did. And we have moments like that where we experience that for ourselves. Hey, whoa, what I'm practicing, what I'm doing, it's working, and it's showing, and it's being reciprocated. And I think that's correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe one of the biggest reasons that we search and seek for this true identity in ourselves is so that we can be reciprocated what we want rather than what we necessarily earn all the time. But in the sense of Kevin told me everything happens for you, not to you. Is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can use everything for the better, for the good.
Yeah.
And yes, I would say so, Kevin. I would agree with that.
Well, every experience that we have in life, and I know I've talked to some people, Andrea, that have had horrific experiences, absolutely awful stuff. But at the end of the day, when we get a chance to talk to them years later, and they've peeled that onion until it's gone, and they now are living a life that they are proud of, and they're moving forward, and then they are utilizing those moments in time from the past to help other people who are still in the process of peeling that onion. Apparently, I'm onion happy today, Rochelle.
Onions are great.
Yeah, lucky you.
but that, and so because you have been through what you've been through, you can help other people with your book, with your YouTube page, and also you're going to be in public service. And so you can utilize your kindness and all of the things that you talk about in your book to help other people, because it becomes a ripple effect. You know what that means?
I do. Every individual should be really conscient that their presence has a meaning. So if I am in a room or in a meeting or at my workplace, there is a meaning. And I also have a responsibility there. So believe that your presence carries power and the people you talk to has an effect. So make every encounter a positive one. I have that actually written in there too, because your presence matters. Where you are matters. So if something's going wrong, you need to, something doesn't feel right, you need to speak up. You need to figure out like a way not to be in compliance, not to be in agreement with, agreement's not a good word. You need to speak when you see something that's not right. You need to do something. Working in public service, I always care so much about how is this really going to affect the households. People are living, like I love my kids, and I want great things for my kids. But isn't that what parents want? All parents, or should be that way. So I think about the results of what I'm doing and how that can positively impact those households and those children's as well. So yeah, I think yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you are taking the step, because, and I think more people need to do it who have a mindset like you, which is to help your community live better and more kindness, and to make policies that can positively affect everybody rather than negatively affect everybody, and or some people, and that you're standing up for the people that are not able to stand up for themselves in the place that you are. So congratulations on taking that step and doing that. What decided you, because it's a big step, what decided you to go into public service?
Looking for effective ways of serving more. I have this deep burning desire to help people, like I said, from all over the world, to help people in general, not just, people. It's amazing. CEOs or, people from different positions, they all go through the turmoils, but we all see them as just that winning position, but we all go through it. We're all humans. So I look for ways that I can reach a larger audience to say that there is a way that your life can be better. There are so many positive things that you can focus on to expand on. So writing a book, doing the YouTube channel, be here in the radio with you guys, and working in public service, it's a way for me to be in the room and to speak when I feel that, something needs to be explained a little bit better, that my perspective is shared, to be in rooms that otherwise I would not be. And going back to the point that your presence matters, my presence matters. And there is a power that when you walk into a room, I can sense the energy within the room. And you have the power to also influence that in a positive way. It is important for you to have a good mindset, to take care of your health, your fitness, to take care of, the human aspects. Like I on the book I say, take care of your basic human needs, drink water, breathe, watch your posture, like taking care of all those little aspects. But
Yeah.
ultimately what made me decide, it was just this. I just want to help people
Mhm.
Which
live a
is,
better
by the
life.
way, being of service to other people is the highest calling that you can have, in my opinion. That is the most important thing, being of service and being kind to other people.
You know what happened in one of those meetings that I mentioned to you about, the leadership meetings? Um, there was one question that was asked. What are you a warrior for?
Mm.
And I did have some time to think about, and I picked Jesus Christ because he was such a kind soul, and the stories of healing, of forgiveness, and I like that concept. I really do. And I feel that I want to follow God and Jesus. That's what I believe in. And I just want to be a good person. And I want my life to be a positive light in someone else's life.
Andrea, I have some good news for you.
I'm listening.
It's too late. You've already become a light for it. Now it just depends upon how bright you want to make that light. Have I said that well, Brichelle?
Yeah, I'm trying so hard not to let my emotions fall into this because we've talked about so much of our control. But I think there's such a positive because everybody hurts and everybody goes through a different perspective of this. And as we end this show, I hate that we always run out of time. Right when it gets so good. So, first of all, Andrea, will you please come back and join us for another conversation?
Yes, ma'am. I would love
Okay.
to. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. You are
Hey,
amazing.
good.
Thank you for doing this. Yes,
Of
this is
course.
great.
I mean, we need your message. We need people like you. Hey, it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to just be who you are and expect people to understand, but it comes all down to the same grounding as we're human. And you said that in the beginning of this podcast. And it doesn't, I mean, yes, it does matter what you go through. And I've continued to say it doesn't matter what you go through, you're human. No, it does matter. Those are the things that matter the most because that's where you get to have the courage to make the difference and help somebody else down a domino effect of lifelines that you never knew was possible because you decided I'm going to be better for me. And everybody deserves that. I don't know where this is coming from, but
I love it.
I
That's
will,
brilliant.
before we run out of time, I want you to please share with us any ways to get in contact with your book, to follow along with your social medias, to continue to learn from somebody like you that, hey, life is hard and that's okay. We're all in this together, but how can it maybe be easier? And then please do share any sort of message that we do have in the last little bit of this time to um, maybe just, you're worth it. We're all worth it.
Yes. The book is called Create a Great Brand New Life, and it is available on Amazon. Christmas time, great gifts. If you buy it for yourself, after you read it, give it to somebody else. I am on YouTube, Andreia Poston. I have some videos out there too with some of the lessons. I'm on LinkedIn. Um, and yeah, you can get a hold of me on those media outlets. And I think if I am to give a message here in the next 30 seconds or so. Be the most authentic version of yourself. Find out who that person is. You are worth it. You are the creation of the creator. You matter. Don't ever let anybody, anything, anyone tell you that you don't, because it's a lie. And believe in the truth of your creation. You were created for greatness. If you are suffering right now, I say a special prayer that suffering may pass. And it's never just night. After day, there comes night. And time does help. And you need to have the hope that while you have a breath, while you're breathing, you have another opportunity to change, to do things differently, to be a better version of you. You do not have to be on the past. And biblically, I believe God sends, things, and he forgives you. And you need to learn how to forgive yourself and continue recycling constantly, always a better version of you.
Amen.
And remember the gospel according to Metallica.
Kevin.
I know I'm sacrilegious. Anyway, the gospel according to Metallica is forever trust in who you are and nothing else matters. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.